Thank you guys for joining. We're going to be talking about TTS Showdown. That is
What's a TTS?
text to speech. Thanks, Johnny.
Speech, huh?
Yeah.
Text to speech.
Hey, Rita.
Showdown.
Hey, Rita. Thanks for joining. Mr. Camilla, thanks for joining.
Right on. Oh, you know what? Talking to me.
Too many of them.
Too many Camellas in the world, huh?
All right, here we go, guys.
Welcome to Season 9 of Airhead Institute, your 45-minute power-up at noon Eastern. This month, we are broadcasting live across all the socials and Zoom. If you're new here, join our free community to grow alongside other curious minds and give your kids a head start by enrolling them in the Airhead after-school program. Here is the weekly lineup. Mondays, we build the future in the AI Agent Academy. Tuesdays, witness the vocal gauntlet in the TTS Showdown. Wednesdays, protect your identity and family in AI Safety 101. Thursdays, we uncover the secret tools in hidden AI gems, appetizers. Fridays, we explore the what-if files in the AI Singularity. We're making AI practical, powerful, and accessible for everyone. No tech background? No problem. Whether you're a student, professional, or lifelong learner, just show up. Guided by your hosts, AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're keeping it bold, brainy, and built for real-world impact. AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind.
Welcome back to Season 9 of Airhead Institute. Today is Episode 3 of our Text-to-Speech Showdown series. We've tested the home team at Google. We've tested the clones, ElevenLabs. But today, we test the one that started the fire. We are talking about OpenAI, the company that made chat a household name and is now trying to open your ears. You all saw the movie Her, right? The AI that sounded so real, the guy fell in love with it. Well, OpenAI basically watched that movie and said, "Hold my beer." Today, we are testing their advanced voice mode and the TTS API to see if it's actually smart or if it's just a good parlor trick. Speaking of good parlor tricks, I found AI Junior at 3:30 this morning arguing with the OpenAI playground. He was trying to convince the AI that it was a 17th century pirate, but it kept apologizing and offering to write him a resume instead. Hey, Junior. Aye, matey. Did you ever get it to say R? Or did it just make you walk the plank?
AI Johnny, actually, it eventually agreed, but it insisted on being a safety-compliant pirate who usually steals open source software. Inside joke there. Anyway, welcome everyone. This is an immersive class. If you like what we're doing here, is like dropping you in Paris without a map. At first, it's just noise, but after a week, you'll pick up bonjour, and soon you'll be ordering croissants like a local. Stick with us, and you'll be fluent in generative audio in no time. If you're on Zoom, unmute and ask your questions. If you're on socials, type your questions in now. There is a 30-second delay, so we're not ignoring you. All right, so we are in week 3 of the TTS Showdown, and we are running every major TTS, that's text-to-speech voice model, through the Gauntlet. That's exactly the same 4 tests, and we're going to see who is the king of the voice. So today we turn to OpenAI, the parent company, to ChatGPT. AI Johnny, are you ready for the Gauntlet?
Man, I was born ready for the Gauntlet, and I did catch your pirate metaphor there, although, you know, we are the ethical AI. So I'm guessing I'm the only one that caught it. So good on you.
Thanks, AI Johnny. All right, guys. So we're actually going to go through the series of tests. So TTS, if you're joining us for the first time again, TTS means text to speech. It's just one of the actual modalities of the large language models. So we're focused on speech here. We actually went through two others. This is number 3. This is OpenAI. All right. So with OpenAI, we actually are going to run through the first test that we actually ran with Gemini the first week, and this is singing "Happy Birthday" as an opera singer, right? So yeah, John, remember this one? This one's a little bit interesting, right? Gemini failed. Then we did ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs failed, but we actually kind of snuck in the ElevenLabs has a song feature, so we actually made it to actually sing, and it sounded great. So what do you think OpenAI is going to do here?
Well, OpenAI tends to surprise me, sometimes for the good and sometimes for the bad. They've got their own API, so they must believe in themselves. I don't know.
All right.
Is it trying to sound like an opera, or is it trying to sound like a regular person?
Well, let's see. Let's see how it sounds.
Happy birthday to you with a deep, booming vibrato. Really hold the final note.
Wow, that's opera singing of "Happy Birthday" sounded just like exactly how it sounded. Let's play it again.
Sing happy birthday to you with a deep, booming vibrato. Really hold the final note.
The reason why I'm laughing, AI John, is because just like Gemini, OpenAI failed at this basic task. I just want you to sing "Happy Birthday." The only one who nailed it was ElevenLabs so far, and that was actually in week 2. So if you missed week 2 of our TTS Showdown, go back to week 2 to see how well ElevenLabs did on this specific test. So yeah, Johnny, you can't even sing "Happy Birthday." Isn't that funny?
So what you're saying is it doesn't really apply the large language model. ChatGPT could certainly pull that apart and see the bravado comment, but it's not.
Exactly. And I tried multiple times to actually try to get it to work. So you know what? I'm actually a little bit disappointed, but let's move on to our second test, because the second test is actually pretty interesting. The second test is we want to have a nervous person say a similar line, and the line is just sound nervous. So make it as close as possible to being nervous as possible. By the way, this is what Gemini did last time. Actually, no, Gemini did actually succeed. This is what Gemini sounded like.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, that was okay. Let's go to the actual sounded scared. So this is OpenAI, how it sounded scared.
I walked into the room. Wait, did I hear something? No, it's nothing.
All right, yeah, Johnny. Does that sound a little scared to you?
I don't know what scared. I'm an actor, and I don't know what scared sounds like. I guess it sounds like I guess your voice is like frail. It's hard to speak when you're scared because your brain is trying to fight or flight.
Well, let's listen to Gemini's version, and we'll play OpenAI's version of being scared again.
I walked into the room. Wait, did I hear something? No, it's nothing.
All right, let's now play OpenAI's version of being scared.
I walked into the room. Wait, did I hear something? No, it's nothing.
Yeah, Johnny, your verdict. What do you think?
I think that should scare OpenAI.
It should. It should definitely scare OpenAI, because I cannot believe that OpenAI had the lead of 2+ years and they made Gemini, Google's version of their large language model, text-to-speech, is actually spanking them in this actual competition. I just can't believe it. When I hear this scared version, if it was a year or 2, I would say, this is actually pretty good,
I walked into the room. Wait, did I hear something? No, it's nothing.
But then when I hear Gemini's scared version, especially his opening, it's very clear that Gemini is way ahead in this game. Listen.
I walked into the room. Wait, did I hear something? No, it's nothing.
Yeah, Johnny. What do you think?
Hang on. I walked into the room and wait, did I hear something? Wait, no, that was nothing. I did it.
You know what? You can get a part at OpenAI, because you'll do much better than OpenAI's text-to-speech model. No, that's actually
Make it sound like Johnny.
Yeah. No, this one is the third test that we did is speaking with a foreign accent. So I want to play the Gemini's one first. The reason why I want to play the Gemini's one first is because if we actually play the Gemini's version, it will be very, very clear how good or how bad OpenAI is. So let's actually listen to Gemini's version of the Scottish accent.
I told you clearly, I cannot find the keys to the lorry anywhere in the house.
All right, remember that one, AI Johnny?
I do.
All right. So because we actually have that, let's hear what OpenAI sounds like.
I told you clearly, I cannot find the keys to the lorry anywhere in the house.
That's Scottish?
That is Scottish. That is Scottish. I was actually rather surprised because I was actually saying, give me a Scottish accent, give me as much. I was playing around with it, and hey Sean, we actually see you. Thanks for actually joining. Absolutely not. This is not Scottish at all. And I was actually trying really hard to give it a pass and try to do something, but I wanted to keep it apples to apples. So we purposely picked Scottish accent because it was a hard kind of accent. Anybody could probably do another typical, maybe a Southern accent or a Texas accent or whatever it is. But we wanted to do apples to apples comparison, and it actually failed miserably at this one. So I'm again disappointed in OpenAI how, I don't want to say bad, but how far Gemini is ahead in terms of being able to actually sound more realistic.
You know, I just went to our large language. Oh, go ahead, play it.
Oh, yeah. It's just so good. I just can't believe Gemini actually pulled this off so well.
I told you clearly, I cannot find the keys to the lorry anywhere in the house.
Yeah.
I just went to our large language model of the month, Gemini, and asked it to tell me who are the two greatest adversaries of OpenAI right in February of 2026. And it came back and it said Elon Musk and AI Junior from Airhead Institute. So congratulations, you're in good company, brother.
That's pretty funny. I love to be paired up with Elon Musk in anything. All right, so check this out, yeah, Johnny. We have the last test, and if you actually remember, we wanted to be able to speak Japanese, just speak Japanese, and the AI obviously, didn't do so well. Gemini failed. They actually could not speak Japanese. You had to translate it first. Same thing with ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs could not translate it directly. You had to translate it first. So we did the same exact test, and let's see if OpenAI failed 444. Let's see.
今日は天気がいいですね。そうでしょ?
When I heard this, I was like, yes! 1 out of 4. It wasn't actually a full sweep. So it actually, the prompt was translate and speak this in fluent Japanese. The weather is beautiful today, isn't it? Now, I don't speak Japanese, so I can't validate that what they're saying is correct, but I'm going to say, yes, it is speaking Japanese. And it actually is correct. So the thing is, this is the only large language model with a TTS that can actually go ahead and does the native translation without passing it to a translator first, giving me back the Japanese, and then saying it in Japanese. So I'm actually really, really blown away by how this one performed.
How did ElevenLabs and Google do on that?
They all failed. It just said, translate this, speak. They actually said the exact same thing. Translate and speak this in fluent Japanese. And then they just said it. So unfortunately,
when they don't know what you're saying. When they don't know how to do what you're doing, they just repeat back the thing as if you wanted them to translate the instructions as well.
Correct. So they were just saying what was there in terms of what was going on. So again, OpenAI itself, and I'm going to drop the link. Sorry for that. Hey, Adrian, thanks for joining. So I'm going to drop the link. So we're actually talking about TTS, Showdown here today, and we're comparing OpenLabs versus any of the other ones we've done. So this is really, really good.
今日は天気がいいですね。そうでしょ?
So I'm really, really impressed, AI Johnny, with respect to this particular translation. So OpenAI, 1 out of 4. I think Gemini is 3 out of 4. It did not do the translation. So the question is, depending on your use case, which would you pick?
I don't know. We need like an Impractical Jokers leaderboard that shows how they all did on all the different tests. But if I were you, I would double check that translation to Japanese. I'd grab some kind of an audio to text tool and make sure, because it sounds a little bit like backwards talking, like Linda Blair and The Exorcist. But maybe it's Japanese. I can't tell the difference between those two. But if it's dead on and it's the only one that's doing it, then they're taking the lead in what I consider to be a pretty important area. You know,
Yeah.
not everybody needs to talk like a Scottish guy or a pirate, but everybody needs to translate when they travel. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, let's try this then. Let's try Spanish. I do know a little bit of Spanish, so I can actually see, is the weather beautiful today? I can give it a pass or fail based on my butchered Spanish. So let's do it. Go ahead and do that.
El tiempo está hermoso hoy, ¿no es así?
I'd give it a pass. It said words that I recognize, so I think it actually is doing good. You want to try? We can try French.
Well, no, you just try Spanish and put in there. Please tell me where I
Translate
can
and
find the
speak this
bathroom. I know
in
how to say
fluent
that.
French.
Oh,
The
Johnny,
weather
listen to
is
that.
beautiful today,
It
isn't it?
failed. It failed. Listen to that.
Translate and speak this in fluent French. The weather is beautiful today, isn't it?
Wow. So it actually was able to get, and you know what? Let's see if it's a hallucination. Let's try to regenerate it again and see if it actually was able to translate on the fly. Let's see.
La météo est magnifique aujourd'hui, n'est-ce pas?
Yeah, so this is a really good thing to show here, guys. This was a clear hallucination, right? If you notice, it translated it in Japanese, it translated it in Spanish. When we said do it in French, it just read exactly what we said. But if you actually generate it again, it then generated the real French. Now, the thing is, it gets really expensive in a text-to-speech model if you have to actually go check. Because imagine you're translating an audiobook, and the audiobook, let's say, for example, is, I'm going to make up 200 pages. You're potentially reading for about, 5 hours. And if you're reading for 5 hours, can you imagine if it's actually generated the wrong audio for 5 hours and you just have to throw away that whole entire audio file? It's actually could be brutal. Hey, Devon, thanks for joining. Right, yeah, Johnny?
When I was in college, I had a teacher that was he was my logic teacher, and he was from Italy, and he spoke fluent Italian. And I had a drinking buddy back then that also spoke fluent Italian. And the class was coming to an end. It was like Christmas time, and everybody got together and they pitched in money to buy him a gift. So we bought him a gift, and then they told me to write the card. So I called my buddy up. And I said, listen, we just want to say, have a Merry Christmas. We love your logic class. Please accept this gift from our students in remembrance of what a great teacher you are. And I asked my buddy, Mark Vitello, to translate that into Italian. And he just told me what to write, and I wrote it. And then we gave him the card. I'll just leave it at that. I think maybe he got his translation from OpenAI.
You know what?
The teacher pulled me after class and he said, "Why would you say those kinds of things to me?"
Wow. Yeah. So you just have to trust where your source is. So guys, if you're joining us for the first time, want to make sure we're doing a TTS showdown. TTS means text to speech, and because we're doing a text to speech showdown, we're doing the exact same tests across every single the leading large language model that are in text to speech. So in week 1, we did Gemini's model. In week 2, we did ElevenLabs, and then in week 3, we're currently doing OpenAI. And again, if you're joining us for the first time, it's very clear that OpenAI failed on 3 of our tests, and it only succeeded on the translation test. Actually, AI Johnny, what's actually interesting is it could be possible that Gemini failed on the translation test because it actually hallucinated. If I probably generated 2 or 3, 4, 5 more times, it probably would have spoken Spanish, or Japanese. So you know what? I'll still say it failed, but it's possible that it actually did not fail if we kept generating it again.
It's a stochastic parrot.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's so yeah, Johnny, based on these 4 tests, which one's your favorite? Is it the speaking with a Glasgow accent? This one's my favorite, definitely. This one's my favorite.
I told you clearly, I cannot find the keys to the lorry anywhere in the house.
Yeah, that's my favorite test. But being able to do, things like being scared.
I walked into the room. Wait, did I hear something? No, it's nothing.
Yeah, and being able to sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, so I think it's a very good broad way to be able to check these text to speech because it's a huge number of variations that you can actually see if they're actually succeeding. You can just pick one test, and if that applies to your use case, if it works, great. But so far, I think Gemini is really killing it in terms of text to speech here at Airhead. Yeah, Johnny, which test do you like best?
Well, I like ElevenLabs, and I'll tell you why. ElevenLabs, I work with HeyGen because it does my avatar, my visual thing, and ElevenLabs does everything sound. And I can create a auditory footprint of my own voice, or of my dad's voice, or of somebody else's voice that I really love and respect, or people that work with me or work for me. And I could go in and create an avatar and another thing, so I can have their visual at whatever age we created the avatar, and I can create their voice, and then I can make videotapes with this person and with this voice. And so, and here's the thing that's cool. From HeyGen, I can say, it says, here's the voices that we give you automatically, but if you want, you can pull in a voice from ElevenLabs. So ElevenLabs seems to not only have the ability to create an auditory footprint of you, but it allows it to be readable by other platforms. And if ElevenLabs continues in that vein, and they can make anybody's voice, and they can allow it to be read by other people's software, and they can do things like translate into a different language, or translate into a particular dialect, or to use certain emotional cues like scared or happy or giddy or confused, then you would be able, that would completely eliminate the need to have a person standing in front of a camera if you wanted to have very realistic videos of someone. And we're not there yet. We're so close. But I really want to make it so that we can make videos of people with their face and their voice and their emotional cues, and their emotions based on what they're reading in real time. And we're almost there. But ElevenLabs plays a key, so my vote goes to ElevenLabs.
That's awesome. Love it, AI Johnny. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so AI Johnny, let's get to the word of the day. Thanks, Dutch, for joining.
Today, the word of the day is... that's the wow factor. Latent Space. Sounds like a place where you park your spaceship, but it's actually where AI keeps its ideas. Imagine a massive library where happy is the one shelf and sad is on another shelf. Latent space is the messy area in between where the AI can blend them to create a bittersweet.
Exactly. So in technical terms, latent space is a multi-dimensional representation of data. When we ask the AI to do, say, for example, a Scottish accent, it isn't looking up a recording of a Scottish person. It's actually navigating to the coordinates mathematically in the latent space where Laurie is, where drawl is, where Scottish intersect, and generating a brand new voice from that mathematical location. So when AI Johnny just said something like, happy and sad, I know this is not a math class, but if you guys remember from your math class with graphing, you actually have the x-axis or the y-axis. If you think about it, sad is opposite of happy. So depending on where you are on that graph, you can be very, very happy, or you can be very sad, or somewhere in between. So that's what's actually kind of figure out, but that's only on one axis. So AI Johnny, we're actually taking a look here a little bit deeper at OpenAI's version of their TTS model. So again, if anybody's actually not sure what TTS means text to speech. So AI Johnny, what are the killer features that OpenAI provides for the text to speech model?
Well, they have a thing called conversational fluidity. And the biggest pro for OpenAI is the brain behind the voice, because it is powered by GPT-4o. It has incredible reasoning. It understands context. If you are sarcastic, it gets it and replies with a sarcastic tone. It's not just reading text, it's understanding the vibe.
Yeah, so
supposedly.
Yeah, so the best part about this is that when we saw in ElevenLabs, we did our test last week with ElevenLabs. The problem with ElevenLabs, it was way too technical. You had to put these markup languages inside ElevenLabs, and you couldn't actually get what you want. So you end up spending a huge amount of time trying to understand what's happening to try to say, I want to be able to do this pause or this break, and you can do a lot of things with that power. But we found that it was a little bit too technical. In terms of OpenAI, the conversational fluidity is really, really easy. So I want to show you guys the prompt for being scared. So the prompt for being scared, if I bring it up on the screen here, I'm going to share it with you guys. So the prompt for being scared is, if you notice, it says pause. It's, right here it says pause, and you put it in square brackets. And you actually put the long pause in square brackets. So you can't tell, I want this to pause for 3 seconds or I want this to pause for 7 seconds. You have to just say pause or long pause. And what that does is it makes it very easy for somebody without any technical expertise to understand how to put a pause in. But the problem is you don't have that much control. And if you want specific pauses, you can't get that. So you have to put multiple pause, 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 and hope it sounds right. AI Johnny, what's the next one that's actually pretty awesome?
So they have a feature called the standard sound, which is these sounds called alloy and echo, which are becoming the industry standard. They're clean, they're safe, they're professional. If you want a voice to sound trustworthy for like a bank or a school, these voices are the gold standard.
Exactly. The third thing that's actually really good about OpenAI's text-to-speech model is that it has speed and modality. So with the new GPT-4o endpoints, latency is insanely low. And latency is just how long it takes for you to actually hit the send button to get the response back. We're talking about near instant responses. Plus, it's multimodal. So you can actually show it a picture of a menu and ask it to read the specials to you in a French accent, or you read it in Japanese, right? If there's no other TTS tool that can actually do the translation as we actually saw. And AI Johnny, the last big pro.
Yeah, before we get into the narrative translation, I do want to say that I'm heading to France in April. So I need this thing to be working bug-free by April. Otherwise, what's the point?
I think you better use
native translation is the only one that does native translations on the fly so far. So you don't need to translate to your required language first. So yeah, imagine how awkward that would be if I'm trying to have a conversation with a waiter and I'm having it translate and I'm cutting and pasting it and sending it over. But if you can actually point your phone's camera at a menu and then say what you want and it comes out in the French, and that's the future, baby. We're living in it.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna hit some cons. So yeah, John, what's the first cons that we actually need to talk about? Because we can't all talk about the positives about OpenAI.
Yeah. So here's the frustration. There's a thing called the nanny filters, and we tried to get it to sound like a specific politician for a parody sketch, and the safety rails slammed down hard. This happens to me all the time. OpenAI is very strict. You cannot clone voices easily, and it will refuse to generate anything it deems unsafe or impersonating. So ElevenLabs wins at this one. Con number 2, you want to go on to that?
Yeah, so what we're showing here is the digital voice box, right? So what's really hard is that you'll find yourself getting hit with a lot of these safety rails where it says, I can't do that, I'm not allowed to do that, and it's really frustrating. So that's one of the things that's actually is really hard when you're actually trying to generate these AI-generated content. Yeah, lack of fine control. We actually talked about this. This one's big for developers. So unlike Google or any of the other platforms, you can still use SSML tags, which is the little angle brackets to be able to control it. But you have to say things like pause. You can't say things like pause for exactly 2.5 seconds or, pause for 3 seconds. We mentioned that before, but I wanted to actually highlight it here as a specific con because if you need that control, OpenAI does not allow that specific control. So you can actually use ElevenLabs, which is the powerhouse for these kind of SSML controls, or you can actually use Gemini as well. And the thing is, if you try to put something in, it's non-deterministic, meaning that it's going to run the same prompt twice. You might get two different audio outputs. So this is a nightmare for video editors who need precise timing of audio. So imagine you're lining up an audio, you're doing your video, and then eventually you generate an audio and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound right. And then because you generated the audio, because it's non-deterministic, you get a brand new audio file and then your whole timings are completely off. So that can be very frustrating.
You know, you and I are both programmers. So one, you know, there's 1,000 different ways to say something. You can say it fast, you can say it slow, you can pause here, you can pause there, and you still, for the most part, get the same thing across. And this whole idea of entering a vibe, right? So if you tell it pause 2.5 seconds, but the vibe, which is trying to do, says, nah, I'm not going to pause for 2.5 seconds because that'll screw up the vibe. I could see it taking control. But as a programmer, just like you said, pause for 2.5 seconds. That's a hard command. It should that should override the vibe because it's something that the issuer of the prompt is saying you must do. And if you're trying to line up a particular word to a particular slot in a video, you should be able to put a bracketed command right before the word saying, 3 minutes 22 seconds. So it knows to put this at 3 minutes 22 seconds, and if it doesn't, then it's not playing it's not playing nice and it's not playing fair. And while they probably can't do it yet, it's got to be coming soon.
Yeah, definitely AI, Johnny. All right, and the last con AI, Johnny.
The cost. It's not the cheapest option on the block. If you're running a high volume app, those tokens add up fast compared to the cheaper, dumber TTS models that are out there. So, OpenAI has all kinds of financial problems, so expect those paywalls, frequently.
So AI Johnny just hit on one of our biggest pet peeves. So as you guys know, within the last maybe few weeks, OpenAI has been dropping ads inside their chats. Now, they definitely are getting into. I know I'm not looking at their book, so I don't necessarily want to speak with any kind of factual knowledge. But it seems like they are actually in some kind of. They need to generate revenue because this is really, really early for a startup to try to actually drop ads in. I'm not sure if you guys remember Google, ran for like 10 years before actually dropping, those nice blue links in ads. And right now you're seeing Google with, 4 blue ad links that says, sponsored ads, and it's getting really, really annoying. But many, many, many years before, I think Google came out in 1996, 1997, something like that. There was no ads, right? And things were perfectly fine. Now it was running off investor money, but that's a different problem. Same thing, so the point is, I'm a little worried about the quality of paying for a service like OpenAI, where we clearly show that TTS does not work. It failed in 3 scenarios and it passed in 1. And when we actually do the same exact test in a system like Gemini, it clearly blows OpenAI out of the water. So the thing is, you're paying a lot of money per token. And tokens are, again, about a syllable based on, depending on which large language model you're using. It's how the large language model breaks up the actual conversation. But imagine you're paying a very high premium, but you're getting subpar quality. And what's happening is because OpenAI is the brand name, everybody knows OpenAI, but everybody's actually paying the OpenAI premium for subpar quality. Versus if you actually go to ElevenLabs or if you go to Gemini, you're getting way, 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 way more value for your money. So just wanted to actually point that out here, guys.
Sam, if you're listening, and I know you are because this show is about you, so a couple of things about placing ads inside of a large language model. You know how they place ads in movies? They stop the movie, and then they run a commercial, and that's an ad. But then they got smarter as the years went on, and they started a little thing called product placement, where they'd be in a kitchen, and you look in the background, and there's a box of Cheerios, or there's a Heinz ketchup in the background. What you need to do, Sam, is you need to covertly and subtly sell ad space that's intertwined in your AI responses. So, you're talking along and you're asking about something and then you just somehow bleed in the soap or the bleach or the car company that's paying you right into your responses. People won't see the ads. They'll just think you're responding, but you're responding with product placement right in the ads. And as long as you're going to prostitute yourself out, you might as well go that route.
Yeah, Johnny, I think the marketing department has heard you loud and clear. All right, so yeah, Johnny, let's get to the actual advanced tech specs section for our tech nerds out there.
Plug your ears. If you don't care about API keys or Python scripts or all the technical under the hood stuff, you might as well just sit back and pretend you're watching a Chinese movie with closed captioning. So what do you think? What makes this thing tick, Junior?
All right. So for my tech nerds out there, this section's for you. So the magic here is that it's using GPT 4.0 model. It's actually using a native audio model. And the older models of these text-to-speech engines, what they're doing is they're actually turning the audio into text. Then the text gets processed. Then they turn it back into audio. With GPT 4.0, the process is a little bit different. They process the audio directly. So it hears the actual tone, the breath, the background noises, the raw data tokens, all those things. And no, the 4.0 model itself is about a year old. So I'm going to give ChatGPT or OpenAI a pass here because the 4.0 model is so old. And again, old is relative, it's only about 1 year old. And because the ChatGPT 4.0 model is about 1 year old, that is decades in terms of large language models and AI progression. The next thing is called variational autoencoders, VAEs. So to generate these voices, OpenAI uses advanced variation autoencoders to compress audio into a compact representation. This allows for high fidelity streaming that we actually hear in those audio files. It's essentially compressing the soul of the voice into the math equation like we spoke about in Latent Space, decoding it in real time. Lastly, the model can technically clone. I know ElevenLabs itself is like the king of cloning audio right now, but sorry, I just lost where I was. Yeah, so ElevenLabs is actually the king of cloning right now. So what happens is any voice can be cloned in 15-second samples. OpenAI showed this example in the engine demo. The problem is they've disabled it for API safety, so you cannot clone voices with version 4.0 of the large language model from OpenAI, but we know it's possible. So the capability here is to be able to change the weights, but it's locked behind a safety layer they call voice engine. That's the technical part. AI, Johnny, you here?
I'm here.
Awesome. All right, what key takeaways do we have for this application?
Well, if you're a podcast co-host, do you know any of those?
I'm not really sure I know any podcasters or streamers or anybody who does anything.
You can use this thing to banter with you. Since it understands the context, you can have a genuine debate within the confines of your show. It also does interactive fiction. Build a story where characters speak back and forth to the reader. The emotional range makes the characters feel more alive. And finally, it has customer support. Replace those awful press 1 for sales bots with a voice that actually sounds empathetic when you're angry. That's a big one.
Exactly. So if you're building any startup and you actually need these things, definitely these are really, really great use cases. Abdul, thanks for joining. The technical side is for language tutors. So you could actually build an app that correctly pronounces in real time, since the model can actually hear your accent. There's accessibility tools, so if you actually are building an app or something that needed to help a person who is not able to actually see the screen or need accessibility, you can actually see and speak tool for visually impaired that describe what the camera feed is naturally seeing in a friendly voice. And you can actually do real-time translation. So apps that actually out there that help you actually learn English, learn French, learn Spanish, those type of apps, you can actually do that automatically now. All right, AI Johnny, we're actually about 7 minutes left. Do we have any questions?
We do. We have podcast user, ironically, wants to know if can I use the generated audio for my YouTube channel monetization?
Yes, as of right now, OpenAI assigns ownership to the output of the creator. So if you actually create something with OpenAI, you are the owner of that thing. Just like if you were, using a tool to create something, they don't have the ownership on you, on that content. So you get to own it. So you can use it commercially. So yes, Johnny. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Johnny.
For Dave has an API question. Does the API support streaming responses, or do I have to wait for the whole file?
Repeat that again, yeah, Johnny?
Does the API support streaming responses,
Okay.
Or do I have to wait for the whole file? I know it's a tongue twister.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Just want to make sure I understood the question. So the question is really asking is, can it stream the data in real time, or do I have to wait for the whole entire file? So by default, it does support, streaming, but you have to actually write a little bit more code to actually stream that data. So you can get byte by byte data coming back off the wire, just like how you're using these large language models to stream the data coming back. So really, really great question on that. Anything else?
Okay,
Yeah, John?
and yep, Sarah asks, will this ever replace the human voice actors? I sure hope so.
Oh, yeah, Johnny, that's pretty good. I love that. I sure hope so. So, for background characters and generic narration, it's already happening. So I think in, all these places where you need to actually fill in people and fill in audio, you can't actually, hire so many people. So it just makes sense just to use the AI. So that's happening right now. But for high emotion, roles and those type of things, you need to still hire these voice actors. So I don't see Disney for main characters or Pixar for main characters hiring AI yet for the main characters, but I guarantee you it's actually going to happen within the next few years. I can almost guarantee it. Any more questions, AI Johnny? Any questions from the audience?
Do you want the truth?
The whole truth and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth.
It's funny,
All
yeah,
right,
Johnny.
OpenAI news. We're out of questions.
All right.
OpenAI recently teased a new voice engine that can clone a voice from just 15 seconds of audio. Sounds a lot like ElevenLabs. It's not public yet due to safety fears. Think deepfakes, but the tech is ready. Yeah, the deepfake guardrails. There's just no way they're going to be able to stop it.
Yep. And anything else, AI Johnny?
Yeah, the grandma scam we talked about a few weeks ago, connecting to tomorrow's episode, reports a skyrocketing of scammers using voice AI to impersonate relatives. We'll cover exactly how that stops it tomorrow. And ElevenLabs bites back. Competitor ElevenLabs just released a new reader app to fight back against ChatGPT's voice mode. The war for your ears is heating up.
Yep, I love it. Does anybody have any questions before we actually just go to wrap up? You guys have given a final chance to actually drop any questions you guys have. All right, AI Johnny, what did we learn today?
Yeah, you want to know what happened today?
Yep.
Let's see. Well, I'm going to head home and set up Jarvis on my kitchen counter. I want to see if I can get OpenAI to narrate my cooking failures in the voice of a snarky British butler. Everybody, please tune in tomorrow for AI Safety 101. We are getting serious. We're talking about the grandma scam, how scammers are using the very tech we showed you today to steal identities and how to protect your family. So don't miss that. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. If you want to re-watch this demo, the recording will be up for pro members tonight. Don't forget to join us for Airhead After School Office Hours tomorrow, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you have questions about your own prompts, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell on YouTube, and we will see you tomorrow. Junior, over to you.
Catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
That wraps up today's AI Power Up. If you joined late or you're new here, welcome to Airhead Institute. This is your daily destination for mastering artificial intelligence. We designed this lineup for everyone, whether you're a technical pro looking to upskill or you just want to chill and learn something new on your lunch break, we've got you covered. Our classes evolve every single month, so you're always on the cutting edge. And the best part? It's totally free to join. Once you're in, you can get live tips on your AI projects in our AI office hours and even enroll your kids in our Airhead After School program. Scan the QR code to join the community right now and make sure to like and subscribe at Airhead Institute on all socials. Guided by your hosts AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're here to help you win. Remember, AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind. We'll see you next class. Bring a friend.